6:21. Let's give them some business here on the Todd and Oz Show. Now, with very little discussion on the dais, the Austin City Council has voted to move ahead with exploring the idea of using your tax dollars to form a public bank run by the city itself.
The hope is that the public bank provides services at cost and returning profits to the public to be used for local development and services.
That's City Councilman Zoe Kadri. This is his idea. How would they do that at no cost? How does your local bank operate at no cost? Well, the only way it can operate is they have access to your tax dollars.
An unlimited stream.
Here's Zoe Kadri again.
We can create loans for public purposes, reinvest in city revenues, and make sure we stay away from non-predatory, non-predatory banking.
Wait. Why would we want to stay away from non-predatory banking? So what is that? Did he misspeak there? Is that what that is?
We can create loans for public purposes, reinvest in city revenues, and make sure we stay away from non-predatory, non-predatory banking.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm going to assume he misspoke there.
I think so.
I'm going to assume he's concerned about predatory banking. My first question is, Zoe, what is your local bank? Are they practicing predatory banking? Your local bank is Frost Bank. Which bank here in town, Zoe, is taking advantage of people? Because we want to know. We want to call them out.
Yeah, and that seems to be, I think he did misspeak because he's really, really, kind of stuck on that one particular talking point that the private sector, it's predatory. They're out to get you, and they're not allowing you to get loans. We will, though. We will, with the use of tax dollars. Our public bank will give you loans where these predatory private sector banks won't.
What a waste of time. This will never happen.
No.
The Texas legislature would stop this. He says the bank could also better support the local economy and provide people with fair and equitable financing services. He claims that they can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, how about that?
Did he give an example? Did he give an example of what he's talking about? I mean, if you got bad credit, no job, and you don't pay your bills, you shouldn't get a bank loan.
And I bet you this public bank would find a way to grant that loan.
Man, sounds like shades of the housing crisis of 08, doesn't it?
Yeah. This is like you said, it's destined to fail. The state's not going to let this fly. But he's out there saying, well, other cities like Philly and San Francisco and L.A., they're all trying to establish that as well. Well, these are not model cities. These are failed, formerly great American cities, failed by the Democrats that have run them for generations. So why are you going to use them as a model? He says, well, South Dakota, which also it does have a public bank, the only public bank in the nation. He's like, in the deep blue state of South Dakota.
Oh, he likes it, yeah. Sounds like a great way to, hide a slush fund here and there.
Oh, man, total money laundering.
Now, the city manager will report back to the city council no later than November the 1st on this issue. Now, also in Give Them the Business, after some back and forth between Mayor Kirk Watson and Councilman Ryan Alter over the timeline of a massive climate-related bond package, the Austin City Council this week has laid the groundwork for it to happen. Now, Alter says the $1.8 billion in debt that they'll ask the voters to approve, you the voters, is vital for the future of the city and the future of this planet.
I'm going to do everything in my power to support this process to get it through to the finish line because this is an existential issue for our community, and I think it's time for us to take that action that will have a meaningful impact for generations.
You
better believe it will, like in terms of all that debt that they're going to have to pile onto your great-grandchildren.
I think if you voted no on this, Ryan Alter would say that you hate the planet. An existential threat. I'm just curious. If the voters say yes to the $1.8 billion bond package in November of 2026 or 2025, how much will it lower the temperature of the planet?
It won't.
Because that's the goal, right?
Yeah. It'll have zero impact on the planet.
Right.
None. This actually did have one no vote. It was Mackenzie Kelly. And I already saw people online sort of slamming her for exactly what you said. Well, she must hate the planet.
Alter, he wants this to be on the ballot in November, but instead this resolution calls for a bond election no later than November 2026. So it'll happen in 2025. Basically, Ryan Alter's given in because Mayor Kirk Watson didn't want it on this November ballot because he was afraid that would make him look bad as a mayor. He's a candidate on the ballot for re-election.
Well, whatever his reason, I'm glad that at least someone was able to get to Alter and he wasn't able to force the issue and slam it onto the ballot this November because You're talking about $1.8 billion. That is debt that you will assume. You can't just throw that with just a few months, throw that in front of people. That takes a lot of time, and planning an altar is definitely not the adult in the room there pretty much ever.
And he's talking about $1.8 billion. You know, by the time they put it on the ballot, November 2026, it'll be $2.2 billion.
Could be.
Right?
I would not be surprised in the least.
Right. Also in the news this morning, while you might not feel it, the cost of monthly rent in Austin continues to go down. That according to Realtor.com. They say rent prices have fallen now for a 10th straight month in Austin. It's marking the largest year-over-year decline in the nation. The report shows 9.5% drop in rents for efficiencies, one-bedroom and two-bedroom apartments. They say there's an increase in the supply. That's the credit for the decline, they say. The median price for rent here in Austin right now is $1,481 a month.
I guarantee you're paying $1,481 a month. You're not feeling the rent decline. You're still very much, struggling because the cost of living is insane. But, so, yeah, I think you're right. People, they say that, but nobody's feeling it.
627, stay close. The top stories coming up on News Radio KLBJ.
The Todd and Oz Show.
All right, so there you are.